It is the Matt Mosley Show, holiday edition. It's Fair Day where I am in the Metroplex State Fair. Some of us will be maybe making our way out there. It's Columbus Day, and if we still call it that, but it is a holiday, and so we got a lot of folks. Everybody's off of school, although I don't know if every college kids, you just never know. There's a chance Baylor kids are in class today. All the state school kids, one of mine happens to be right down the hall from me right now, are home on fall break. The Bears, I do think the Bears have a fall break. The Baylor, Scotty, when we were in school, I do not remember the fall break. I remember Thanksgiving break. I remember spring break. Don't remember having a fall break. But there's just a weird deal where everybody gets to come home. Everybody's off like Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and some places even more than that. And so there you go. But whoever's with us, we're live. I've just explained to people that we're going live, and we got a lot in store for you. I'm going to continue. I do the Doomsday Podcast, is an extremely popular podcast that we do through Rogue Media. That's out there. We'll continue to put that out. Ed Werder and I did that last night. We'll certainly talk Cowboys here. Scotty and I will do that. And then we got some Baylor, because Dave Aranda, after the bye week, he has I'm just glad Dave could get some time away from the media. He really needs it, man. He just spends so much time with the media. We got Dave a little bit of a reprieve, and then we'll hear from Dave and react to what Dave has to say heading into that TCU game. And Scotty Swingler, I want to bring him in as we do this special holiday edition. Scotty's a man that I think was offered the day off and declined. Just said, "No, sir. No, sir. I refuse, and I'm gonna work right through the holiday." So, Scotty, appreciate that. Appreciate that's right. Do the flex for us. Have we finalized? In fact, if people are listening to us and want to see us in person, the Green and Gold Game Day pregame show, we're going on the road. There has been talk of us being near the TCU campus. I have officially put in for a credential. Unless I've really made TCU people very mad over the years, although they did force their longtime PR guy out, their longtime SID, Mark Cohen, longtime friend of the show. So I don't know. Scotty, I don't know if it's a done deal that I'll be in the building, but we will be near the campus. Scotty,
yeah.
Is that still the plan?
It is still the plan. So if Baylor fans want to come out to see the show before kickoff, you just go up University Drive from campus, just a little ways, and we are at Log Cabin Village on Saturday. It's a historical museum. Matt, I don't know what Corey's dreaming about in terms of exactly where or what our setting will be, but yes, it is just up the road from campus. We'll be right there, ready for all the action in Fort Worth.
Who knows what he's dreaming about? I mean, it's just hard to say what he may be dreaming about. Okay, Scotty, it's time to dig in, because Cowboys go out there and lose the game 30-27 yesterday. Had every opportunity in the world. You go win a game. I think we got to get to the point where you can't like keep expecting, it's the whole insanity, the definition of insanity, trying to do the same thing over and over and expect a different outcome. I guess they had the only outcome different that you can expect is when a team plays the Jets. The Jets are dreadful. I think they're 0-6 now. They're pathetic. All right. So I do, Scotty, I'll say that right for you. You were right on that I think I was just hoping we would have some interesting things to talk about with the Cowboys. And so when the pass rush looked really good and they hammered the Jets, I wanted to think that meant something. And you gave a very dour, it's the Jets, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, it doesn't mean anything. And if they didn't, and I thought they would go at least take care. I thought there was a chance you had to be right if they got blown out by the Commanders at home. I did not think they would go to the land of the Panther, a place where they have to play them every year. Why do the NFL schedulers do things this weird? It's like you might not go to a place for like 7 seasons, but you could go play at Carolina 3 straight seasons. Make it make sense. Now, for the most part, that's a good thing. You want to go play. If you're going to have road games, you want them to be against bad teams. So playing in Charlotte on almost an annual basis is a great thing. I don't know why they do that, but that's what's happened. And the Cowboys find a way to lose this game, a game that I always thought, you know what, they are kind of letting them hang around, but surely the Cowboys will find a way. And at one point, they got a lead in the game, and you're like, okay, this is probably when they need to pull away. I mean, did they have like a 24-20 lead or something like that? I mean, there was a moment where it was like, okay, they're okay. They're gonna be fine. They'll win. And it's just this defense is so horrific. I mean, it's like in the past. What's wild to me is if you think about it, Scotty, when they lost in the playoffs to the Packers. That seemed like such an incredibly low moment. And I think we were so everybody was so angry that Jordan Love and the Packers did that in 2023 that people were like ready for Dan Quinn to be gone. Like, good riddance. I'm glad he got a job. I'm glad he's gone. Like, that literally was how people handled that. I mean, imagine that. They've now been through Mike Zimmer. That was bad last year. Not as bad as this. Like, this is... Last year when they didn't have Micah, things got really bad. Now they don't have Micah. Things have gotten even worse. Like the one thing I'll hand it to Trayvon Diggs is he was honest after the game. I mean, he just said, we have no identity. We're basically horrible. I thought he was honest about that. I thought the most honest moment that I've heard this season was Shoddy after that game. And Scotty, I'll tell you what, tomorrow – We'll have all our people come back from the holiday, and I'll find this nugget from him. But it grabbed my attention. It was Shoddy asked if the players, because he's saying they have the players. Okay, it's not a player. It's not a personnel issue. It's not having the players. So, okay, what do you blame it on? And he was asked if it's not the players, do the players not believe in the scheme? In the defensive scheme, and he said, well, that's the big question. And he went on to say, I'd like to think that they do. I think that they believe, and we, and he said nice things about Matt Eberflus, but it was the first moment there was a hesitation, and he did not immediately dismiss that question. Did not dismiss the thought that they just may have a horrible scheme. And again, we all see that and can know that, but it's another thing for the head coach of a football team to basically come out and go, I don't know that we have the right scheme. I mean, here's what I'm reading today. All right. This is from the people who are with the team every day. This is what I used to do. I used to be embedded with the team. I used to be out there for every practice. I was there. This is what I'm reading from those folks, that they went into this game against the Carolina Panthers going to play a lot of man. They were going to play a lot of man coverage. But they got into the game and decided to play a whole bunch of zone. But remember, they'd been practicing the entire week and leading up to this game, man coverage. And yet they got into the game and they're like, I don't know about this. Let's go back and play that zone. Oh, well, I wonder why guys are running free. I wonder why Rico Dowdle is wide open in the end zone. I wonder why Teteroa McMillan is wide open in the end zone. I mean, busted coverages, horrific run defense. I mean, Scotty, it got to the point where, I think we were trying early this season to go, well, they've been better against the run. Why would a team ever run it when Russell Wilson, who is everybody's celebrating with the Giants that he's no longer their quarterback, he threw for 450 yards against the Cowboys. I mean, he went off in the passing game, so they didn't have to run. They didn't have to run the ball. Panthers came out. This is how bad it is. An undrafted player who had one good year with the Cowboys, had a pretty good year last year when they didn't have anything. They finally handed the ball. They're like, hey, let's try this guy. And he ended up running for over 1,000 yards. Scotty, he's now gone back-to-back games against Miami and Dallas, and he's got 473 yards from scrimmage in those two games. 400. So he's almost got 500 yards from scrimmage in two games. He ran for 206 yards against the Dolphins. Cowboys held him to 183. Only managed 183. Now, he did have 56 receiving yards. I mean, all these games, Scotty, I go back and I'm like, well, I didn't remember this guy. Oh, yeah, that guy had a good game. That guy gave him some good carries or good catches. In this game, you just look at one guy. You just look at one man. One man came in and just completely crippled the Cowboys. I mean, he was a one-man wrecking crew, and he called his shot. It was. I mean, it'll be one of those infamous moments in Cowboys history with Rico Dowdle, a man who they didn't care enough to even offer barely like a minimum. I think they act like they tried to offer him something. He left, and he ends up getting free agency, and he signs a deal that could be worth up to $6.5 million if he hits a ton of incentives. Well, goodness knows he has to be hitting some incentives right now. But he basically signed a one-year deal for about $3.5 million. Almost like a veteran-type minimum. This is Rico Dowdle. Just happy to be here, guys. Thank you for the uniform. Do y'all have any, like, can I get some, like, Nike stuff? What do y'all have? Do y'all have any Reebok or whatever the NFL uses these days? What do we have? Can I get a few? Can I get some stuff to, maybe give my family? Okay. This is what that man signed for, because Chuba Hubbard, the former Oklahoma State great, is their lead back. He's their lead tailback. And Rico Dowdle comes out and he says, after last week's game, he has a big game, and they're all huddled around his deal. And they're like, what about going to play your old team? Thinking, well, I wonder what he'll say. And he says, they better buckle up. Oh, the Cowboys heard that, and they had a big time with it. The head coach even, we'll be buckled up. We'll be ready. Rico's a good player. We'll be ready, though. We'll be buckled up. Players saw it. Players talked about it in the locker room, and they weren't buckled up. And he had a great quote just right after the game. It was very simple, straight to the point. And he just simply, and because he's from that part of the country where he's playing now. He's from the Carolinas. He played at South Carolina. He may be from Gaffney. Is Gaffney North Carolina or South Carolina? He's from that whole area where the Panthers play. They play in Charlotte, but he's from that area. And he just, after the game, they asked him, Scotty, he said they wasn't buckled up. That's great. It's great. Scotty, see if you could find it. I mean, not like in the next 30 seconds, but like that. I just at some point today, before we sign off on this holiday, on this sacred holiday, I don't feel like this holiday is getting a lot of attention. And plus our man Columbus, we used to celebrate him. Now I think he's kind of the villain. I think Columbus may have mistreated some folks when he landed on our fair shores. So I don't know. I don't know where we are on Columbus. I'm not going to get into that, but let's just say, like on most of these holidays, you get some U.S. flags going. If you sign up with the Boy Scouts, you get some flags. Always love seeing all that, driving around. Columbus Day, not so much. President's Day, yes. There's some days that we do it, but not for this one, all right? It seems like we're trying to forget this day, but it's still, I think, a federal holiday. Schools are taking off. People are taking Fair Day. We got a lot of stuff going on today. All right. Scotty, let me bring you in for this. And kudos to you. You heard me start to do this a little while ago, for not falling for the Cowboys. And given the fact that you've grown up watching the Cowboys when you grew up, my gosh, kind of Texas and right outside of Waco. You've seen enough recently not to fall for this, and I would think you're going to fall for it. Now, again, will we come on and react, and will that bring great interest to what we do if they somehow knock off the Commanders? Absolutely, and we will give it appropriate reaction. What I don't think Scotty will do, and what I will no longer do, is to react to those brief, nice moments with, "Oh, here they are," and I think what warped my mind, Scotty, was that the Eagles lost twice. The Giants are better, but not a threat, right? And it just kind of was like, wait a second. There seemed to be a brief opening. Go to Carolina, get it to 3-2-1, and then you're almost tied with the Eagles. Eagles are sitting there at 4-2. Commanders play tonight against the Bears. Bears are 2-2. One of those wins comes against Cowboys. So you start to formulate a plan like maybe the Cowboys can get back in this. So, Scotty, full credit to you. You were right not to get faked out by this team in any way and to basically say that the Jets game didn't mean anything, because in the end, it did not. And we got to see that yesterday. And the Cowboys, what's that line? They are who we thought they were. Whoever said that.
They are who I thought they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the credit. You continue to model for me a quick humility and trigger to admit when I'm right. I will continue to attempt to return the favor. Yeah, man, this defense is atrocious, and I saw. Oh, I think it was Ed Warder. Yeah, it was your podcast partner, Ed Warder, who you do the Doomsday podcast with, tweeted out to remind folks that outside of Dan Quinn, this 31st ranked defense has actually been the norm for the Cowboys in the last 6 or 7 years. It wasn't good with Zimmer, and it wasn't good with who was the other guy before that?
Well, they had Rob Ryan back in the day. They had Mike Nolan before.
Nolan.
Yeah.
So that was Werder's tweet said under Mike Nolan, the Cowboys had the 28th ranked defense in the NFL. Under Zimmer, it was also 31st. And so outside of when you've had Dan Quinn, this defense hasn't been good. So maybe it's an Eberflus thing, but it's also a personnel thing. Very much so.
It's on. Yeah. And as Ed is so prolific from a tweeting standpoint, picking through here. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. But Ed gets in these arguments. People, it is interesting. Either people in their 60s that are like NFL people, like Ed, they're either never get on Twitter like Sal Palantonio, or they're too active, right? They treat it like Facebook. And I would say Ed's probably a little too active, and I would tell him that, and I have told him that. What I'm trying to tell him is like, it's like kind of when you and I are maybe trying to get some traffic on our new show, or we get Barry Switzer on, like when you put something big out there, you just let that stand for itself for a little bit. Ed's one of those, like, he'll put something big out there, right, and then tweet 50 straight times after it. Sometimes you just got to let people come to you a little bit. This is a point he just made, though, that I think is along what you're just saying. You're saying, okay, there are some personnel. Okay, I think the coaching's horrible. I think Eberflus, no matter who the personnel is, his inability to marry the front with the back end of this defense is horrible right now.
Yeah.
But now I blame some of that on him because, you go into a game and I'm reading where, hey, let's play man. And they get to the game and they're like, no, let's just play zone. Let's just zone this thing up. And they just lose everybody. I mean, think about how bad that quarterback is. Like, he's not a great quarterback. The Panthers quarterback, Young.
Yeah.
He's not he's
No.
not a good long-term
He
answer at
he
quarterback.
legitimately may not be in the league in like 4 years. Like,
Correct.
yeah,
Correct. He's only going to get these opportunities because he was the first overall pick. And it's like,
correct.
what are they going to do? They got to at least try to use him. And he has his moments because he can move around pretty well. But it's obvious he doesn't have that great of an arm. He's really not that accurate. But
Right.
but anybody can hit guys when you just let them run wide, stinking open. These safeties have no clue. Donovan Wilson, the old A&M guy who had an interception in this game, Scotty, he's a box. He's what you'd call a box safety. He needs to be near the line of scrimmage. He's like an extra linebacker, right? He can make some hits. He can do some great. But to expect him to be back there, oh, man, these are not even double moves. It's like, oh, he faked in, and then he went on the. No, they're just running guys wide open out there. But I think the point Ed makes, that's a fairly interesting point, and I want to have this conversation with you, Scotty. Ed makes the point again. The coaches fully expected to have Micah Parsons as the most prominent and versatile member of the defense until 7 days before the season started. You don't, and again, he's arguing with these fans who basically are saying that the trade had zero impact and they would have been bad even with Micah. Again,
well,
it's hard to say because I will say this. When he was out last year, they were horrific. When he came back, they actually had some decent moments. Like it is not the easiest thing to replace.
Right.
The arguably the best pass rusher in the game. So these folks that act like it wouldn't make any difference, I don't know. I mean, maybe having the best pass rusher in the game's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. Well, you've spent most of this season, to Ed's point, not only without your best pass rusher from last season, but also without your best linebacker, Overshown, and without your best cover corner, Bland. All those guys have been out. At the same time, I don't know how you can watch this defense. And I think the world of Micah Parsons. I was angry he got traded, but I don't know how one guy.
Yeah.
I mean, this defense has made. It's not just Bryce Young. Russell Wilson was benched a week later and had his best game since a Super Bowl against the Cowboys. Caleb Williams has looked horrible as a professional, except against the Cowboys when he won. I mean, outside of Jordan Love, and that's kind of the mystifying anomaly in this season, every quarterback that's played the Cowboys has had a field day. So I don't know. Does Micah Parsons disrupt that somewhat?
Oh, wait a second.
Well, absolutely.
Hey,
well,
by
absolutely.
the way, Jordan Love and them put up 40. He's fine.
Well, I know, but he didn't. But he's the only one that didn't have like a career. Like he turned the ball over in that game. He turned the ball over in that game. I mean, I thought he played okay. But my point is, all these guys that are not. I mean, we're talking with Russell Wilson and Bryce Young and maybe Caleb, but certainly with Young and Wilson, we're talking about bottom 5 guys in the league.
Scotty, the Panthers, to highlight your point. Do you know the last time they were at 500? Do you know the last time they were at 500?
I bet. I know it was pre-rule. I don't think Rule ever got there.
Well, it was 2021. Was he still there?
I guess he was. Their coach.
They were in like week 5 or something. They at least had it, or week 6. They had it to. They were 500 team at one point that season. They're 3-3 right now. Like, you talk about baby steps and you talk about bad organization. And the embarrassing thing is, I think it makes it even more embarrassing that the Cowboys offense, even without CeeDee Lamb and even without a running game yesterday, they had 30-something yards. Let's not act like they had a running game.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys offense is ranked probably like the first or second best in the NFL, and they lost to Carolina. And it really came down to, it's kind of like those old Baylor offenses when you're like, hey, if they don't score every drive, it's going to be a problem. I mean, hey, this Baylor offense, I mean, same way, right? I mean, you need to score over and over and over again. What happened late? The defense, shockingly, got a stop. They actually stopped Carolina. They didn't make a field goal or anything. They got off the field. And I think the offense was so shocked that the defense did that they went out there and it just weren't ready. Listen, Scotty, they went out there. Remember that last drive? 7 or 8 minutes left in the game. It's a tie game. Everything's fine. 27-27. Everything's fine. You get the ball. You got 8 minutes left, and you're like, you got good field position. As I recall, you're fine. You're not at like your own 8-yard line or something. I mean, they did have the previous possession, was I think when Dak fumbled. They're down there near their goal line, and Dak had to like a miracle fumble recovery where some big lineman's like on it, and Dak somehow grabs the ball back. I think they had to settle for a field goal there. And so the Cowboys get the ball back with 8 minutes left in the game. It's 27-27. They go screen, check down, punt. By this point, it's 3rd and 22. Their check downs are going backwards. They're throwing the ball. I mean, like it was just so bad. I think the defense is so hard to watch that at some point the offense it becomes a lot of pressure because you really only have one front. I mean, Tolbert's fine. Okay. Flanoy's a decent player. These are okay. They're okay. All right. Both those guys are okay. But Pickens is doing everything he can. Pickens had 168 yards. He's leaping over people. Pickens is playing beautifully. Ferguson is now getting a touchdown a week. He went a whole season without one, and I think he has 4 or 5 this year. He's now on a streak of like 3 straight games. He's playing well. He's catching the ball. But, I mean, it's just too much to ask. It is down to the point where I think they have to have a minimum of 30 to have any chance to win. So you're asking your offense to have 30 to even get a tie. They had to have 40 points or whatever that game was. That game they tied at what, 40 to 40 or 41-41, whatever that game was against the Packers. You have to have a minimum of 30 to 35 points to have any chance to win a game. Wow. I mean, it is really difficult, and help is sort of on the way because DeMarvion Overshown. It's really sad that they're arguably, I mean, Scotty called him their best linebacker, and I thought about it for a second. I'm like, yeah, I guess he has to be now that Mike is gone, or what you can call Mike a defensive end, whatever you want to call him. Like these guys are so bad right now. I mean, Scotty, you're talking about Bland being out, which is true. He has been out some, but he's played the last 2 games. Bland and Diggs are your like that you've got $90 million assigned to them. You got $90 million in contracts assigned to them, and they're both pretty bad right now. They're both can't cover. I mean, the biggest play of that game, you're 4th and 4. They're near midfield. They're at your own, like you're at the 45 or 40. They don't get that. You got a short field. You go win the game. You're 1 first down from being in easy range, or anything's easy for this kicker. Cowboys kicker is so good, but you're 1 first down from being in field goal range, and so you got to make a play. They're 4th and 4, and some would say, really, should they be going for that? It's like 3 or 4 minutes left, and I think they did the right thing because they didn't respect the defense. They shouldn't have. That's a good. The reason Canales was running on 3rd down was the same reason Aranda and Spavital and everybody wants to run on 3rd and long. On 3rd and 7, they're running because they want to go for it on 4th down. They're setting up 4th down. Panthers doing the same thing. So here they are. They've already, Kaiir Elam's already got a pass interference to extend 1 drive when the Cowboys had them 3rd and 7. So he interferes. He gets grabby. easy call. He's grabbing the wide receiver. So then the Cowboys have another chance. It's 4th and 4. And right before that play, Scotty, here goes Bland in full retreat. Bland leaves the line of scrimmage and gives Hunter Renfrow, who's in the slot, all sorts of cushion. You need 4 yards. He gives him 7 or 8. I mean, he runs a slant. He runs a slant right to the first down marker. Ball goes in. Cowboys are trying to move Kenneth Murray, trying to undercut that route. He didn't get there quickly enough. He wasn't going to get there. Bryant, all Bryce Young had to do was he never looked anybody off. He never looked off the linebacker. He looks at Hunter Renfrow and goes, I'm going to send a slant right here for a first down. And the Cowboys said, you know what? Think about that. They were going to try to throw that even if it was in like tight coverage. They were able to throw a quarterback who's not that good and not that accurate, was able to throw that ball into soft coverage on 4th and 4 with the game on the line. And that allowed them to eat up the final 6 minutes and change. On that last drive, they take it ball back over with about 6:07 left. And here they come all the way down the field. They eat the clock the whole way. It's Rico. It's Etienne. And then the Cowboys couldn't even let them score. Something they should have been, Scotty, extremely well qualified to do. There should be no team in all of the NFL that is more qualified to let another team score. Because at that point, they were in field goal range. They're at about the 20 or the 25-yard line. And the Cowboys, and honestly, it was the right strategy, okay? The Cowboys were going to let them score a touchdown. And so Etienne gets through the Cowboys defense, and then he falls down. Smart play. After the game, they're asking Coach, did you think about letting them score? I see people writing after the game that the Cowboys thought about letting them score. They did. They tried to let them score, and the Panthers were too smart to do it. Etienne fell. I mean, I think they only put him in there because Dowdle was probably tired. He'd probably had, by this point, 35 touches on the day, 35 to 36 touches. He had 56 yards receiving and 183 yards rushing. It's one of the greatest days of any back they've ever had. Scotty, if and we were talking about the other day about the white running back and Scattaboo and your contention that Scattaboo should have gone in the first round, and I was just saying, well, there's some reasons he didn't go in the first round. Well, McCaffrey was the obvious back who was in the Scattaboo category, the white running back category. And McCaffrey used to be with the Panthers. People forget that because he's been so great with the 49ers now for a few years. But he used to be with the Panthers. And he was their only good player. They were horrible, but they had one really good player, Christian McCaffrey. And he had back-to-back games at one point, Scotty, where he went for like 417 or 420 yards from scrimmage. Rico Dowdle, who doesn't even have half the pedigree, doesn't have even a quarter or anything that McCaffrey has now set the record for back-to-back games yards from scrimmage with like 473 yards, and he called his shot. That's the most embarrassing part of this whole thing. He says to the Cowboys, you better buckle it up. You better buckle up. And they just said, okay, all right. And they show up, and they don't have like the pride to even, and there were no adjustments ever made. He kept doing it throughout the game. And the only reason he didn't average more than 6.1 yards per carry is because late, he had some, with the box stuffed, he ran for, 2 or 3 yards on a couple of carries. Otherwise, he would have had like 7 yards a carry or 8 yards a carry for the whole game. And 60 of his yards, somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 70, was like before contact. Like they were just flat out blocking it open. The Cowboys were nowhere to be found. And then when they made contact, he just ran right over them. Like, Scotty, if I ask you, hey, Scotty, who's the defensive player of the game for the Cowboys? I don't know. Maybe Donovan Wilson, because he caught a tip ball. It came off. The only reason Bryce Young threw an interception is because his guy didn't catch it. It went off the guy's hands and bounced into somebody's waiting arms. Wow. This is a rough day for the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. This is a holiday, but not for us. We've chosen to come. We've chosen to wear our hard hat, and we've chosen to bring it. All right. And we'll do that throughout the week. And then we've got a big road pregame show for you coming to you from Fort Worth. But I'll tell you what we'll do, though. We're going to do one massive Campus Confidential. We got a lot to react to. And then we'll share a little bit of Dave Aranda, and then we'll let you out of here a little bit early today with about 20 minutes to spare or something. But since it is the holiday, the Columbus, Columbus, he sailed the ocean blue. Scotty, can you help me with the three ships? The Santa Maria was one of them. Something that starts with the Nina, the Santa Maria.
Huh? The Nina is correct.
Nina, Santa Maria, and what was the third one?
Pinta.
Pinta?
Yep.
Pinta, Nina. Okay. Just hang with me, Scotty. One quick story. U.S. history, circa when I'm like a sophomore, junior. And one of my buddies who shall remain nameless, although he got his tickets to the game the other day, A&M game, which is very nice, was I don't know if it's known to me or unbeknownst to me, but he was cheating off my paper and had a pretty good, but the reason I can't believe I forgot the third ship, but I forgot this was U.S. history, my sophomore or junior year of high school, and was doing pretty well in the grades at that point in time, but I couldn't think of Columbus's third ship. And so I just, goofing off, put Good Ship Lollipop, okay, which is like from a Shirley Temple movie. The Good Ship Lollipop is what I put down as an answer. And my idiot buddy went ahead and put that on his paper too. And so we get called in, and somehow it's like, yeah. So anyway, I just remember that was Kaufman High School, circa 1990 or 1989, 1990. That did happen, and my buddy was cheating off of me, and so we both end up with the answer, Good Ship Lollipop, for one of Columbus's ships. Okay, Scotty, I know you love it when I get into some story time, Mosley story time from the late 80s, early 90s. It is time, though, for some Campus Confidential. Let's do that next.